There is an invisible line that separates two extremely similar forces, but that create completely opposite results in your life. On one side, desire. On the other, desperation. And the most dangerous part is that, for most people, this line is imperceptible. You believe you are desiring something, when in reality you are energetically begging for it, and that changes everything, because desire attracts, but desperation repels. Have you ever noticed how some things seem to come to you easily, almost naturally, while others, the more you want them, the more they slip away, as if there were an invisible resistance blocking exactly what you want the most? That's not a coincidence. There's a subtle difference in how you position yourself internally, and that difference determines whether life responds with flow or frustration. But where exactly is this line, and how can you tell if you've already crossed it without even realizing it? Desire is born from trust. It is light, open, expansive. When you desire something in alignment, there's an internal sense of possibility. You want it, but you don't need it. You believe, but you don't force it. There is space between you and the outcome. Now, desperation is the opposite. It is born from lack, from urgency, from the feeling that if it doesn't happen, something inside you will remain incomplete. And it's exactly this energy that creates resistance. Because instead of positioning yourself as someone who can receive, you position yourself as someone trying to fill a void. And life responds to that void, not with fulfillment, but with more evidence of it. But here's the question that changes everything. How do you notice this difference within yourself day to day? Now think about it. When you want something, how do you react while it hasn't happened yet? Can you continue living your life lightly? Or does it occupy your mind all the time? Do you feel confident or anxious? Because desperation is not in the goal. It's in how you behave in its absence. It's that constant need for control, that urge to speed up the process, that silent impatience that says, it has to happen now, and that creates an internal tension that reflects in everything. Your decisions become more impulsive, your energy becomes unstable, your perception becomes limited, and without realizing it, you start acting in ways that push away exactly what you want. But there is a specific sign, a clear signal, that shows when you've crossed that invisible line. That sign is the loss of presence. When you are in aligned desire, you are still living in the now. You still feel, observe, breathe. But when you enter desperation, you completely leave the present moment. Your mind gets stuck in the future. In when will it happen? In why hasn't it happened yet? And that disconnects you from everything that could actually bring you closer to what you want. Because opportunities can only be perceived in the present. But if you're not there, you simply don't see them. Now let me ask you something. How many opportunities have you already missed? Not because of lack of ability, but because you were mentally elsewhere. Now tell me in the comments in 1 to 3 words. What do you feel when something you want takes time to happen? Most people believe they need to want more, desire more intensely, try harder. But they ignore something fundamental. The more you push, the more resistance you create. It's like trying to hold water tightly. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. Healthy desire involves direction. Desperation involves control. And excessive control creates blockage. Because you start interfering with the natural flow of things. You try to predict, adjust, accelerate. And in the process, you lose connection with your intuition. And without that connection, your decisions stop being aligned. But there's something even deeper happening when you enter this state. Desperation creates an identity. And that identity is based on lack. You start to see yourself as someone who doesn't have it yet, who hasn't arrived yet, who hasn't achieved it yet. And it seems harmless. But it's extremely powerful. Because your identity determines your actions. And your actions determine your results. So even if you're doing the right things, if the identity behind it is rooted in scarcity, the results will reflect that. That's why two people can pursue the same goal. And one achieves it with ease while the other struggles constantly. It's not about what they do. It's about who they believe they are while they do it. And here's something that may be uncomfortable to accept. Many times, you don't just want the result. You need it. And that need completely transforms your energy. Because when something becomes an emotional necessity, you give your power away to it. Your happiness starts to depend on something external, and that creates a dangerous cycle. The more you need it, the more you push it away. And the more you push it away, the more you feel like you need it. But what if the problem was never what you desire, but where that desire is coming from? There is a subtle shift that changes everything. And it's not in the goal. It's in your relationship with it. When you move away from need and return to conscious desire, something reorganizes. You still want it, but you don't lose yourself in the process. You still pursue it, but you don't abandon yourself. There is balance, and that balance creates space. Space for clarity, space for opportunities, space for things to happen naturally. But this transition doesn't happen automatically. It requires awareness. It requires practice. It requires that you observe your own patterns with honesty. And here's the most important point. You don't eliminate desperation by forcing calm. You transform it by understanding its root. What within you is creating this feeling of lack? What do you believe will only be resolved when that happens? Because often, what you're seeking externally is an attempt to resolve something internal. Security, validation, belonging. And while that isn't resolved within you, no external result will be enough. You may even achieve it, but you won't sustain it. And that leads many people into a silent cycle of empty achievements. When you understand this, something shifts deeply. You stop chasing and start aligning. You stop trying to fill and start building. You stop acting from lack and start acting from choice. And that completely changes how life responds to you. Because now your energy isn't asking, it's allowing. It isn't begging, it's receiving. And that is the invisible line that changes everything. The one that separates exhausting effort from conscious creation. And if all of this made sense to you, then there's a simple next step. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this kind of awareness completely transforms the way you create your reality. The more you understand this invisible line, the easier it becomes to live on the right side of it. The side where desire flows, without desperation, where you create, without losing yourself, where you move forward, without burning out. And remember, by the end of this video, you will never see your desires the same way again.